Hi everyone, I'm Brianna and welcome to Roll Initiative. And today we're going to be talking about how you can avoid some really common mistakes that new DMs make. So, let's get started. So, I think one of the first mistakes that a new DM can make is inviting too many players. Because sometimes when you ask if someone wants to play D&D, then they say yes and then they invite some friends and suddenly you have a very large table. And that can work. I have run games with quite a lot of players, but it is certainly more difficult because everything from social encounters to combat is going to take longer for every person that you have. So, not only is the game going to take a lot longer to get through with more players, but it can also be difficult for you as the DM to be able to focus when there's so many people at the table. It can be difficult to try and listen to all of them, and sometimes multiple people are trying to do different things at once. And that can be quite difficult for a new DM to handle. So, your entire game will probably be a lot easier and run a lot smoother if you only invite a standard party of about 3 to 5 people. Another really common problem that a lot of new DMs run into is how much they need to prep. Because under prepping is a problem. There are certain things that you're going to need to run a session, and if you don't have them, then it can be really difficult. But over prepping is just as much of a problem, if not, in my opinion, more. Because not only do I feel like it causes the DM a lot more stress, but it can actually be really difficult when you go to improvise. Then, if you've got a whole storyline plotted out, it can make it really hard because there is no way that you can prep for everything. Your players are going to do something that you don't expect. And if you've got a whole storyline plotted out, then it's going to be really difficult to improvise because if you change one small thing, then if you've got a really full structure of a story built, then the whole thing is going to have to change. And that can be really difficult to do on the spot. Whereas I find for me, bullet points work really well because that way you've just got certain points that remind you what you need to get done in a session, and they're really easy to move around when I need to improvise. But every DM is going to find that they need to prep a different amount of stuff. There's no certain way of prepping or no certain amount of prep that you need to do that is going to be perfect for you. You need to figure out what sort of things you actually need to run a session and prep those. Because no matter how much you prep, it's not going to help you more than if you prep for what you actually need. Now, another thing that I think a lot of new DMs are guilty of, just because they don't know better, is to take away a lot of the player's agency and not let them make decisions, and when they do, they don't let those decisions matter. And that can be hard because as a new DM, you're quite worried about your story and you want it to go a certain way. So you don't want to give the players too much of a chance to derail everything and completely upset the story. But it's really, really important that you give your players choices that are going to be meaningful and impact the story. Because it's their story to tell. Your world, their story. You create everything and give it to your players to be able to make something fun out of. One of the best things for a DM is to be able to let go of the narrative that you have planned and watch as your players turn it into something that's often really chaotic, but it can be really, really fun. So I think it is really, really important for DMs in general to let their players make decisions that are going to impact the story. Don't railroad them and tell them where they have to go. Line everything out, and often, as a new DM, it's easier to make the plot a bit clearer. And if you have new players, then they often need a bit more guidance. So even if you have to spell things out a bit for them, Just having a bit of a clearer plotline will make it a bit easier for you to handle, and if you have new players, then they probably need things to be a little bit spelled out for them anyway. So I think it is really important to just run a story that you can easily handle and let your players make decisions that are really going to matter. It's going to make them so much more interested in the game if it actually changes to what they do. Now, a couple last things that I wanted to say is to make sure to ask for feedback, because you've got a lot of amazing DMs, but some of them just won't work for different tables. Their DMing style just won't suit some people. So, if you ask for feedback from your players, then you'll get to know what sort of things they like and you can be the best DM for your group. It is really, really helpful to get to know your players and ask for feedback. Get to know what sort of things they like. That way, you can be the best DM that you can for your table. You can be an amazing DM and a really good storyteller, but it won't mean much if you're running a game that your players don't like. So, talk to your players, communicate with them, and ask for feedback. It is the best way to improve your games and to improve your skills as a DM. But there we go, that's the end of this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it and that it was helpful. Though I think it's really important to remember that it's really easy to get caught up in making a game that's going to be fun for your players and trying to be the best DM that you can. And that is really great, but don't forget to have fun yourself, because the DM is playing the game as well in their own way. And it's really important that you're having fun too, because if you're having fun, your players are going to be able to feel that at the table. It's really important that you're having fun as well. You're playing this game as well. So just remember to enjoy yourself. And if you enjoyed this video, then I'd be really grateful if you'd consider giving it a like or subscribing to my channel. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.